This was all around the family.
That is a big
They
state.
don't know there's a mistake. Yeah, I know.
What part
And
of
that's what's gonna happen. She's gonna get changed.
We stayed in Atlanta. Well, right outside Atlanta,
Yeah,
stayed
but
right there by
that-
Woodstock. Woodstock
But I heard
yesterday, it's out
the
there.
iPad was sitting up on the
It's out there by,
table.
Truist, is that the new one, the new stadium?
Woodstock's about 45 minutes, but
Oh, am I just shrinking myself or am I just
They
falling?
lower,
Yeah, they lower
Noonan
your
is
seat.
down 75.
there you go.
Jeez.
Boost it up
It's
so
a
you
nice little
can
area.
see.
Who's these tall
Well,
people
we
that want to
live
sit up here?
In the Air Force.
You know why they slow?
Warner Robins and Moody, which is
No,
down
I
about.
don't.
Look, you better hit it.
I'd rather sit up high. Alan used to aggravate me on purpose and would always lower it.
Suburb on the north.
And
They had
he'd
court in
stop.
here today, so.
Didn't
We
he?
stayed right by that, was it Cumberland Mall?
They may give you a hard situation.
Cumberland down on,
If you
Right off
would have beat me,
75.
down towards Noonan.
look what you
No,
gave.
it's
Probably,
right
I
across the
would've-
interstate from, Oh, big mall, that's Cumberland Mall.
I don't remember, it's been so long. We, when we lived in
Where is
Warner Robins,
Vicky?
we used to drive up there
She texted me and she said, I hope I can make it back in time.
shop for like
So I don't know where
Christmas.
she
And
was.
I remember on the south side of Atlanta, on that side of 75, I remember Big Mall.
Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Remember, when Jimmy Carter was president, all the farmers were
Are any of these people good?
complaining
I
about
don't know.
stuff.
I do wanna go hear them.
About
Okay.
75 to
I don't know about
the
the rest of
state
them.
capital of Georgia. Took us forever.
I didn't know if we were done.
Council meeting for the month of July. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July holiday. And it is definitely summertime. So I'm going to let you guys have an opportunity to take a look at the agenda and ask Councilman Rustin to lead us in the invocation.
Sure, let's pray. Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to join tonight as a group, Lord. We thank you for the rain that we've been having the last few days and the success that those have been. And Lord, we appreciate the people that put those on and make them go. And God, we ask you, Lord, just continue to bless the city as we move forward this summer and bless the people that are in it. God, I ask you, Lord, just let the city continue to thrive throughout the year. And as we progress, God, I ask you, Lord, just have your hand on it. God, just thank you so much for the opportunity to meet and be with the meeting tonight. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. You'll stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And while you review the agenda, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Lilly. Here. Mizell. Rustin.
Here.
King.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Mitchell.
Here, and we've got a quorum. A few more seconds on the agenda, it's pretty standard. And we'll move forward to the first item, which is the approval of the minutes of the June 18th council meeting. You all have a copy of the minutes. You should have had an opportunity to read those. So are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Okay, if not, let the record show the minutes were approved by unanimous consent. And so, next item is we'll start with the department head reports. Fire department, I'll give you the update on that. Everything is pretty much the same. The budget is almost a net wash. He's got a very small surplus in the budget to date. If you take out, again, the 700 that we put in and we also expensed for the fire truck. We need to apply for another AFG grant because we've got to think about a fire truck pretty soon. We're starting to get a little long in the tooth as far as those vehicles. Safer grant had some concern about perhaps we might, since we didn't spend any of the money in the first year, that we might lose some of that money, but sorted that out with the folks at FEMA, so we're in good shape. Put together a position description for a recruiting and retention coordinator, which would be a contract, an independent contractor that would come on for the remaining 3 years that we have on that. And so we'll get that posted on the website. We can post it on other job sites like Monster and Indeed and ZipRecruiter, and I vary the expense of putting in any of those recruiting sites to the grant there. So I think we're in pretty good shape as far as the SAFER grant. Also, we don't have to wait to hire, we were under the impression that we needed to hire the recruiting and retention coordinator before we could start and advertising and even going out and recruiting people. And the answer to that was no, we can start spending that money and doing all those things while we're working on that. Now, there is a specific budget for that recruiting and retention coordinator. So say, for example, we were able to recruit all the people that we had targeted before we even got that person hired, which is probably a rare chance that would happen. We could possibly move some of that money to other line items in the grant, which would potentially be beneficial. So I was really pleased. This new guy that's, I guess, the coordinator or the person that we deal with on this grant, he's very, very, very cooperative as far as working with us. So any questions about the fire department?
So we won't lose any money, that money?
We won't lose any money. We got 3 more years to spend it.
Everything looks good. Our safety issue, we did have to trespass a patron for making, threats against other patrons, but that has been taken care of. He should not be back in the library. So that's the only safety issue that we've had with the library, so that's good. Our traffic, we had an estimate of 1,810 visitors for the month of June. Keep in mind, it is summer reading, we do get a lot of heavy traffic. We have 147 kids signed up for summer reading, which is up from, that's like 30 more than we had last year.
That's great.
Highlights opportunities, for June, we provided $63,754 worth of services. As I said, that is just circulation of books. That's not programs we provide. That's not computer usage, none of that. Cox and Cookies will return to the library on July 11th, 18th, and 25th at 10 a.m. We're looking forward to that. Summer reading is continuing up until the 20th of July. July 11th will be our last movie night of the summer. We will be showing Finding Nemo at 5:15. July 19th, the 4-H Science Center will be at the library at 2 p.m. They said that they couldn't bring their birds, but they will be bringing the reptiles. So we're excited about that. Adult summer reading starts August 1st. And that just basically, if you come in, check out 3 books, you get entered into a prize at the end of the month. So, that's what's going on at the library.
Do we have to give a book report, or do we just
No,
check out the books?
you can come in, check out 3 books, you don't even have to read them, but do return them, and then you'll get entered into the.
That's unfair.
That is
We shouldn't
unfair,
cheat.
but but anyway, so that's what's going on.
I bet on the cops and cookies, no cop takes off that day.
I don't know, Dan. But
They got a full house.
They did it, yeah, they did it last year and it was a lot of fun, so.
You read to them, don't you? Do y'all read to them?
I have opted out this year. Actually, this is Chief of Police is gonna come and read in my spot, so. Ajane, I can't remember Ajane's last name. She's with Fox 6.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, for Thursday, just forgot who's reading. It's, I guess a local celebrity who's gonna come read. I'm not exactly sure for that.
Do we have any of those?
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know.
Bellingham area.
Okay.
It's really
All right, any other questions for Jennifer? Okay, very good. Community Affairs and Senior Services. You got anything on that, Amber, or just what's on the chart?
Just what's up there.
Okay. Well, the big item on there, which is a highlight, is that Ally is on vacation until the 16th of
I know
July.
she's happy.
And she did serve 1,144 meals in June. And there's a Central Alabama Wellness Back to School Bash on the 20th at the Grand Hall. and drug court graduation on the 19th, which I guess that's a good thing to graduate from. So. And that's about all I know about that. Any questions? Good. Is that all of them? Did I skip one?
Yeah, library board met.
Okay, but I mean, did I do
Oh,
all
no.
of the?
Where's Dale?
Where's
Where's
Dale?
yours at?
Dale, can
Hold
you
on.
talk to what's going on in?
It was in I remember seeing it.
I don't know what happened.
Must be in
Okay.
good shape, it's not on the board.
Yeah.
So there
Well,
really
we'll have
hasn't
to
been a
trust
whole lot of stuff change. Me and Chris have been struggling to hire employees. So we actually have one that is starting tomorrow. He used to work for.
It's on.
the-
Tomorrow?
Sorry,
Tomorrow?
the part-time guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the part-time guy starts tomorrow. He retired from my department with the city, so he's coming back to help us out and do part-time stuff.
That's good.
So we're glad of that. Then Monday, we have a new guy starting. He'll be a full-time employee. So hopefully we can get him trained up, and he was on his previous job for a long time, so hopefully he'll stay with us. So we're looking forward to getting him trained up. And Chris will be out of commission starting July the 17th from 4 to 6 weeks. So it'll be me and the office assistant and the new guys.
Okay. Any, developments activity on the, two things. Number one, the easement, I did see some email about that.
Yes.
That's for the,
Storm drain.
for the storm drain and then with the sewer project.
So the sewer project, Dave's still in negotiation, for the treatment plant with the contractor. So hopefully they'll have that resolved by the end of this month. And we'll have
Is he concurrently negotiating with ADEM?
yeah, so he's in negotiation with both of them. So he's gonna get the number from the contractor. Then if it's still high, then he's gonna negotiate a little more with.
Because when it's submitted to us, it's obviously it's gonna be very important to understand whether or not we're gonna have some more funding from ADEM,
Right.
whether it be grant funding or SRF, loan. Okay. And anything on the easement?
I haven't heard back from Bill or Josh.
Okay. Well, I'll probably I'll rattle their chain in the morning, because I didn't see anything else on it. Okay. Any questions for Dale on the environmental? Okay, I'm gonna skip the water board thing here to the back because we have a board appointment that we need to address tonight, so we can talk about that at the end. Jennifer, you mentioned the library board?
Yeah, the library board met, last month. We just kind of, things like that. We, talked about summer reading. We will have to meet again to look at our collection and, circulation policies, just to update that, send it off to, the Alabama Public Library Services. It's something we have to do, periodically to continue to be eligible for state aid and LSDA grants and things like that. So, we're gonna be discussing that and looking at updating those.
Okay. Any questions for Jennifer? Did the rec board meet?
Yeah, we were supposed to meet last night, but I was out of town, but I will say, if you've been down the street, it has been hot and heavy there, people playing, pickleball. So I anticipated that, got a lot of good response out of that. So it's going as designed, so I'm sure we'll have a problem pretty soon about how can we do more.
It will.
So it's been good, I think that's been well received. The thing about it is I think, what I understand, people coming from outside the city to play too, like some Alabaster people and, all that, so it's attracting a lot of people there.
We need to send a food truck over there. So, some sales tax.
So it's been good.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Ricky on the recreation board? Water board. So we have, a lot of people, may be or maybe not aware that, Johnny Farr, who's been on the water board and chairman of the water board since most of us can remember, is stepping down. His term actually, I think, ends tomorrow. And so we have to appoint a replacement for that board position. We have 3 board members, and so Johnny is stepping down. The board appointed Lamar Vick to be the new chairman in place of Johnny. So Lamar is on the board, and so we have another position to fill. And 3 candidates have been put forward. One of those candidates is Chris Lee, who is one of our environmental department supervisors, indispensable city employee. I have spoken to Chris. Chris is interested in the position. Another candidate who came to me expressing an interest in it is Damon Falmer. Damon lives, you go down Mildred Street, is that Short Street? Is that the name of it
It is.
there? And lives down there. His wife used to be on the beautification board. Damon's background is in sales management, real estate. He's got some construction management background. Pretty solid business background, and they've lived in Columbiana for quite a while. And he expressed an interest on being on the water board. And I asked the council to consider people that might be interested, and Ms. Lilly called me, and she had indicated that Chris Sutton, who's he's a retired superintendent from Aldott and lives out on 47, and that Chris is interested in the water board position. So before we do any nominations or obviously a vote for any of these, is there any discussion about any of these candidates? Somebody would like to say something about any of them? Maybe Chris, say something about Chris?
Yes, sir. Chris, has been, here in Columbiana for 68 years. He is retired superintendent of Aldott. He is a graduate of Shelby County High School. His family is well known here in Columbiana by the Sims, the Heads, and like I told you, Mayor, the Hills, all these, even our judge. And I just think that the reason I thought about him was because of Aldott. And I thought that maybe he could give us some enlightenment on some things, and then he'll be an asset. He's dependable, a man of his word, has great integrity. Chris is, I put him up there before my husband. And that man,
You in trouble.
I'm sorry, but he's a man.
You in
When
trouble.
he said he's gonna do something, Chris is gonna do something. He's gonna be there. If, come hell, high water. And that's the way I feel about him. So, but I think he'll be a big asset to Columbiana, because he knows Columbiana.
Okay. Anybody like to have any questions or comments about the other candidates?
No, I think the world of, I don't know Mr. Sutton.
I don't
And right now I know him, he's walked in here, I probably would. But I think the world of Chris Lee. I know Damon, Chris does an extremely good job for the city, obviously, we all know that. I know Damon as well, and Damon's a very good, solid individual, and his family lives here too, and I think, that's about all I can say. I mean, I can't say a cross word about any of the 2 guys that I know. It's just a matter of who will be, serving on their board, so.
Yeah. So it sounds like we have 3 strong candidates. And so what we need to do is offer up nominations, and then we'll vote. So if there's no further discussion, Anybody like to nominate any of those three candidates?
I nominate Chris Sutton,
Okay,
being a candidate.
Well, and Damon reached out to me like over a month ago, requesting to be on.
so so we have a second, so we can vote on it. I'll second Ms. Lilly's.
And then he had reached out to me over a month ago, requesting to be on the water board for, what's the board you're on?
Planning and
Planning and zoning, so I feel like since he's been mentioned, he's talked to you, then I feel like I need to mention him as well.
So do you want to nominate him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, and we've got Chris and Sutton, and we've got Damon. Chris Lee?
The only thing I'm concerned about Chris, because I love him, I mean, is what about his job and it being called? I mean, I don't want that to hinder him.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I'm like everybody else here. I have a very strong, positive opinion of Chris Lee. He's an indispensable man in our environmental department. We know what his work ethic is, and his dedication to the city is second to none. And I think I sent this out to all you guys. Here was my concern. And it's not a concern about Chris, but we have Alan Reynolds, who's a city employee on the water board, and we have Lamar Vick, who's a retired city employee on the water board. And if Chris is on the water board, then we essentially have all city employees, if you will, on the water board. And I feel like that we need to have some representation from the broader populace on the water board. And that's the only reason why I would not consider.
Is it just 4?
There's only 3. It's only 3.
How many can be on there?
Just
Just 3.
Wonder why that board's so small.
Well, actually, I think you can expand it, but I don't know that there's a need to. But you can, I believe. I'd have to go double check it, but I think 3 is the minimum, but it might be only 3. I'm not 100% sure. Because there's a couple other boards where 3 is the minimum, and we have more than the minimum on there, because it gives you a range. But anyway. All right, so we have, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say at the same time, I hate for that to stop Chris from being,
Well, I do too.
you know,
But again.
I don't want it to be a punishment or a.
I think it's a valid point. I think the work was really.
I do too.
There's no bones about that. I think it is a valid point that you need to have some type of independence,
Mm-hmm.
wherever that is, if it's 2 of 3, 1 of 3, or 3 of 3.
Yeah.
I think it's a valid point.
Okay, so we have 2 nominations then. So, all in favor of Damon Falmer, let's do it by show of hands. And Chris Sutton, I'm gonna abstain. I talked to both Chris and Damon, Chris Lee and Damon, and I didn't have the opportunity to talk to Chris Sutton, so I just don't think it would be fair for me to vote one way or the other. So what do we have, 3 for Damon? Okay, so Damon will fill the water board seat. But here's the thing, Chris Lee and Chris Sutton both. It is very, very challenging and difficult for us to get volunteers to serve on these city boards. So I would like to talk to both of them. I haven't talked to Chris Sutton yet, but even Chris Lee again, because we have other opportunities for them to serve the city, and I appreciate them coming forward.
I think Chris Sutton being in the Algot, that's pretty vital.
Yes,
So
we do.
well, I think we need to pick his brain, especially on some things we're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What I,
I mean,
what I said when I talked, I said, you know, Aldot's a tough nut to crack.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a very.
So we can definitely use that expertise.
He's got somebody willing, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it. Any other boards that we missed? Okay, so this is a resolution authorizing me to sign a contract with the Lower Brothers for the tennis court resurfacing. As Ricky was talking about, we resurfaced the pickleball, or 2 of the courts, and turned them into 6 pickleball courts. And now the remaining tennis courts really look pretty bad. So we're gonna get those resurfaced and get them up to speed. The contract for that is $41,700. We've looked at our budget. We have several different places. I think the one that we looked at is our capital improvement fund is the most likely place to get the money from. But we have surplus funds in the budget to be able to handle that. So the resolution is that city enter into a contract with Lower Brothers for the resurface and crack repair of the existing tennis courts. The contract is for $41,700. This is in the FY24 budget in capital improvements. You would authorize me to execute on behalf of the city. So, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Resolution 072401, authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Lower Brothers for the tennis court resurfacing.
Second.
Okay, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Lilly,
Yes.
Buston,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
Before, just, Watson, we need, I think, and maybe you mentioned this and I agree with it, that when that construction starts, I think we need to
Close pickle.
try to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so there's no
Actually-
footprints or nothing like that, and I know it's gonna cause some heartburn.
Well, it might even be a safety issue while they're working on it, you know, and you got the little balls going over where they're working and stuff, and it'd just be a smart idea.
Does,
I wonder how long it takes to dry or whatever.
We'll figure it
Yeah.
out. We'll ask.
does the high school still use the tennis courts?
They do.
Okay.
But surely they can get it, because they already
Well, we
know
need to
that
make
they're
sure
trying to
they're
get us on
not-
the schedule.
Yeah, we need to
So,
make sure they're not
before school starts.
practicing with it.
Is there any other city business anybody would like to bring up?
Is it spring? I wondered when it was. We used to know it.
Okay, mayor's report. Financial audits in full swing, and it will be presented to the city council in August. This is the schedule, and I know you can't read that, but basically this is where they are on the audit process, and what they're doing is they are preparing the preliminary financial statements that will then be subsequently be included in the audit. And they will get those financial statements to me in the near the end of July. I think they've got on their schedule there, it's July I can't read it.
Pre-financial statements, July 24th. Send draft
Yeah,
on
the
the
24th
26th.
is, so it's the next item there where they would send, after the red box there, they would submit them on the 24th of July, hopefully a little bit sooner. Before they do their final, I have to start working on the management discussion and analysis, and that takes a lot of time. And they need that obviously for the final audit report. So budget process has begun. I got some of the forecasts for where departments feel like they're going to end up this fiscal year. And this is where great minds think alike. I put on here that the pickleball courts will close temporarily when the tennis court resurfacing is in progress. And the TBA is to be announced. Once we let this contract, we'll sort that out when that timing would be for the closing. 38th Annual Liberty Days in the books. Most of the feedback that I got was positive. I did get one, concern or complaint. And I'll say this, we had a couple of, both Friday night and Saturday, we had a couple of logistical issues. Of course, we had the rain. on Saturday in the middle of the event, which kind of, pun intended, put a damper on things. But I still thought it was a successful event, and I think the concerts Friday night and Saturday night were enjoyed, and we seemed to have a pretty good crowd Saturday night as well. So the message I'm going to put out when I do my monthly video as well to anybody who might watch this, if somebody has any things that they would like to comment on or have a suggestion that we can make it better, let us know. That's what we want to do. We want to make it better every year. And the last thing I put on there, we were talking about it earlier, it's hot. And towards the end of the week, the heat indexes are supposed to be between 105 and 110. And you know, particularly if you're somebody, even children, who play outside a lot, and baseball, or if you're a cross-country team, I see them out in the mornings running, and other joggers and everything. It is easy to get overexerted and maybe suffer from heat stress or heat exhaustion, and possibly even a heat stroke. And then there may be elderly people, handicapped people, folks who don't do well in the heat, and maybe for whatever reason, maybe they don't have air conditioning. If you know somebody who might need some help during this hot weather, please look in on those folks. You know, it might be as simple as carrying them in an ice chest of ice or something like that, but just make sure that they're doing okay, because we take it for granted sometimes, but it can be deadly. So.
Does anybody in our community do welfare checks like that for our older citizens?
So generally, I do know that some of the churches have members that they look in on frequently. We do have the Meals on Wheels, and so the people who do that sometimes will come back with the information that somebody might need some assistance. And, you know, you can always call the police department or the fire department and ask them to do a welfare check on somebody if you have a concern.
I just didn't know if somebody did that already or whatever.
Or if anybody need a van, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, only reason I say that is because my friend's mother sat in 3 days with no air conditioner at over 100 degrees, but she wouldn't tell anybody. And so, I mean, I'm like, you know, and I'm sure older people, you know, it makes you wonder, do they ever reach out to anybody? And if nobody goes and visits them.
Well, you know, the other thing too is I grew up and didn't have air conditioning when I grew up, but we had window fans and attic fans
And we were
and things
used,
like
we
that.
were used to the weather too.
Well, but your house was opened up and the air circulated. So nowadays, people are used to air conditioning
Right.
and their house is closed up, tight as a bug.
Mhm.
And if they lose power or air conditioning breaks down, particularly if they're maybe elderly, handicapped, live alone, they can't open it up to cool the place off. So it's dangerous. So if you know anybody and you have some concerns, please check on them. Okay, moving right along. Announcements, the Sunset Music and Market is starting back up this Friday. So Farmers Market at 5:30 each of those nights. And on Friday the 12th, we've got Daniel Bowden. On Friday the 19th, we've got the Goat Hill String Band. And on Friday the 26th, we've got Kingfish. I know the top two have been here before. I'm not sure about Kingfish. But anyway, I think it'd be a lot of fun. And then and that will be the end of it for this summer.
Been a good run though.
Any comments?
I do got one thing I missed. So I had a student at the high school reach out to me, and the other big craze outside of pickleball right now is frisbee golf.
Really?
Yeah, big time. So all these cities and stuff are building these big frisbee golf courses, and basically it's a stick with a basket with chains on it. You throw frisbees like this golf just for frisbees. I mean, people are traveling far and wide to play at these courses.
What, do they have a par? I mean, do
Yeah, it's golf just with a frisbee. Yeah, so
Is
it's
that
par.
disc
yeah.
golf?
Yes.
Is that the same thing?
Well, you know,
What'd I say? Disc golf.
Frisbee, you
Frisbee
said
golf,
frisbee.
yeah.
Frisbee
Yeah.
golf. Disc golf. Yeah, so they have it set up like a par and all this other jazz. And it's really,
well, when I hit a golf ball, it kinda goes like.
Frisbee the same way.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a student, and there's actually some other people. They go to other cities outside of us and play a lot. So I mean, it's a big deal. I had a student at the high school reach out to me about possibly laying one out at the cross country course around the track.
Can you, I mean, with all the trees and stuff, is that wide enough to do it?
So I mean, people throw
I mean-
trees this wide. Yeah, it's really interesting. And maybe we can get a videos of one around here or whatever, so I can show you. But anyway, he asked whether the city would be open to that, and maybe in the next couple of council meetings, I may get him to come and just talk about it. It would be a good amenity, just with low cost, and everybody brings their own disc, and the pods are just like a trash can basket with chain link things.
So do they have like holes where there's more than one?
So yeah, I think he measured it out. You can put probably a good 9-hole course there, or even a 18. But I mean, it's people travel.
You have to throw it inside the chains, don't you? It's gotta be a hard throw, it's tough.
So it's taking its by crane. So
And it's a
anyway,
disc though, not
It
a
is.
frisbee.
small
Yes,
frisbee.
it's a
A
kinda
small
heavier
frisbee,
than a
Yeah.
frisbee.
So it would go a little straighter than a frisbee.
Now, I saw one the other day, we were working in Calera, and when you turn into their high school, in that little park, they have one there.
I know the University of Montevallo, I think, has a disc golf
That's what it-
team.
yeah, it's a college sport now. Yeah.
I don't think they're very long, though.
No.
I mean, from where you start to the,
But
whatever you
it's
call it.
but a lot of people are playing it, and a lot of people travel from city to city to play it. Matter of fact, they Google disc golf courses to see where they can go play, and it's pretty fascinating. They've talked about maybe putting one down at Beeswax, but it's pretty inexpensive, and it gets a lot of people around. So I may get him to come and just talk to us and see if.
Yeah, I'd like to see some. And do you think they have them in the woods like the cross country course?
Good thing you don't play golf in that narrow space.
So anyway, that's mine.
Because I would hit a tree and then beam myself in the head with a golf ball. Okay. Anything else? Any other comments?
I got one thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask the chief this. I had a stray dog at my house the other day. Do we have anything we can do, or am I on my own with a stray dog?
So if it's vicious, then animal control will come out and take care of it. If it's not, no. But if you'll call us and let us know what you got, and we can pick it up, take it to the next side, we'll be happy to do it.
Luckily, he left.
Oh,
Yeah. I
Well, he
cracked.
decided you wasn't feeding him anything, so
Well,
he
no,
wasn't
to be
staying
honest,
there.
he was in bad shape. I did give the dog some water and food. Well, then he ran off and then was coming in my backyard, and I was putting my lawnmower on the trailer. He got nervous and just took off toward my neighbor's house. So I called and told him, say, look, there's a dog coming your way, but I think he just hit the road.
And unfortunately, we don't have any equipment to catch these dogs or anything like that. But if they're friendly and we get our hands on them, we'll collect them up.
That dog was in sad shape.
That is
Yeah,
sad.
just give us a call, we'll come pick it up.
Yeah, it was bad.
What about the cats? Are the cats still hanging out at the?
Cats are another, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Well, you know, they used to hang out and somebody would feed them down at the Woe Win Dixie.
They come around and feed them over by the
Yeah,
Dollar Tree.
yes. So we still got them, huh?
Yeah, we still got them, and trying to round them up is, well,
It's like her.
I'm not a cat fan, so I wouldn't be trying to get one.
we set traps out years ago trying to catch all these things, and
I like cats if they're this little and they're sweet.
Right.
And then they grow up and I don't want nothing to do with them.
No. Any other public comments or questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.